Hello everyone and welcome to another Catching Up on JP. This is now part 9, where today we're going to talk about the MagiRepo event, the April Fool's event for this year, KamiFest, while also talking about the Rui event, which is called the Reincarnated, Overlord, Magnificently Thwart, Their Conspiracy. So we're going to talk about that event as well, but we're just going to start off with our first event, of course, KamiFest, Kamihama Idol Festival 2020. In this story, we're going to follow the exploits of, well, specifically Idol Reina-chan, but more so the Kamihama Idol team that is built around, Iroha, Rika, who is being followed around by Ren, of course. We have, of course, Reina-chan in there as well, Mami and Kako. They're building Kamihama, and they're still practicing and getting better at being an idol, but they're still only just performing for their close friends. So they need to somehow gain more popularity. In order to gain more popularity, the producer Maruka Senpai is here. Maruka Senpai has some jobs for Reina to do, which also includes Reina playing a murderer in a thriller movie that is being directed by Seda, which apparently that role really fits Reina. Somehow also Neo-Magias are fans of Kamihama, because Kamihama are of course all magical girls and they're vying for popularity, and Neo-Magias, they really want to make magical girls popular as well, so they want to show off how amazing magical girls are, and they talk about how Hagumu is going to fight some reptiles and wildlife while on a phone, because that's apparently going to make people go, oh my god, magical girls are amazing. So now the Kamihama Idol team, they want more popularity, and the only way to get more popularity is if they have a new song. So they need to come up with a new song, but they don't know what to make a new song about, so they just try a bunch of random stuff to figure out how to actually make a new song. And, well, one of the things that they try is Reina fights a crocodile on a phone. Maybe they'll find some inspiration for a song. They still can't find any inspiration though, and then suddenly a mysterious organizer organizes the KamiFest, and in this KamiFest, idol groups are going to go up against each other to become the MVP, which brings with it, of course, popularity and the fulfillment of any wish that you can think of, which of course would be, for example, give us a new song. So they need to win the MVP so they can be given a new song. The competition itself is tournament style, where they will have to go up against other idol teams, and in round 1 they're going up against Merry Blood. Tokimeki Democracy is also part of that tournament later, but for now they have to go through Merry Blood first. So Merry Blood is, of course, the Promised Blood idol team about heavy metal, so Judy is the frontrunner with the heavy metal flaming guitar with crane operator behind them. However, Reina has the Axel combos with double Axel drawing to victory with the doppel, and immediately destroys Merry Blood, and of course Kamihama are victorious. In the next round, however, Tokimeki Democracy got beaten. They got beaten by Sayoki, so Reina has to go up against Sayoki, but she just cannot muster up the strength to go against her most #1 idolized person in the world. However, with all the friends cheering Reina on, she's able to gather courage and stands up and says, I'm ready to fight Sayoki, I'm going to aim for the top. And the contest begins. It's arm wrestling. And Iroha goes in and she just beats Sayoki. And then they're MVP and they win. So the organizer turns out to be Kyubei, and Kyubei wanted to scout for more magical girls, but apparently all the idols are already magical girls, and the fans, the audience, they're all magical girls already anyway, so that kind of didn't work. However, Kyubei is not a sore loser, and it's like, I can give you guys 30,000 yen or whatever. Well, Kamihama is still back to square one. They still don't have a new song, so they need still more popularity, they need that new song, they need more inspiration, so I guess it's back to wrestling wildlife, right? But it's okay, because Seda is there and she's gonna save the day, because she's going to use her unique power to always get funding for whatever she's doing in her movie productions, and so she's going to get the song produced by having it featured in the next movie. Yay! The Reincarnated Overlord, magnificently thwart their conspiracy, also known as BokuSoshi. Apparently that's what people call it on the Japanese server, BokuSoshi. Anyway, so in this event we are introduced to Rui, who is a Chuni, or Chunibyo in long. If you don't quite know what a Chuni is, let's just say that she believes that she is the reincarnation of an evil overlord and that her evil eye is hiding her power level. And that there is apparently an evil group called They who are trying to somehow take over the world, and as her being the reincarnated overlord, she's the only one who can stop them. That's basically what a Chuni is. Anyway, so she wants to go to KamiFest. Also, in case you guys don't know about KamiFest, it is a sort of convention that is going on, I think, like once or twice a year in Japan, where a whole bunch of people come along to buy the best and newest fan merchandise, so fan art, fan manga, dojin, or new fan games or fan movies or whatever, just stuff made by fans about either original content or fan content about other anime or manga or whatever, and a lot of it is not safe for work. So she wants to go to KamiFest because apparently she's a really big fan of this guy called McQueen, and McQueen is apparently a guy who makes video games and she really likes those video games, even though apparently they're not actually that good, but there are cult following video games out there, we know about that stuff. So she wants to go to KamiFest together with her basically only friend Seira, who you probably might know from the other event. What was it called? The event that had Mikura, Seira, and Temari in it. Rondo of Oblivion sleeps for eternity. I only remember the Rondo part because that's like the important part. Anyway, so she's from the Rondo event and she was the director and she wants to check out some fan movies there as well. So she comes along with Rui, and the thing is also about Rui is that she knows that her Chuni is very embarrassing if she talks about that sort of stuff around people, but she at least trusts Seira because, like I said, she's like her only friend. So if Seira comes along, that's fine, but she needs to hide her power level, so no one else has to find out about her being this reincarnated overlord. And like I said, she knows it's embarrassing, so she's trying to hide it. They finally arrive, however, at KamiFest, where there's, of course, a convention guidebook. If you've ever been to a convention, every convention has a guidebook. And, of course, it's not just any guidebook. This guidebook is Hekatonchia's Revelation. It's what Rui calls it. It's just a guidebook. However, so after they've arrived at KamiFest, they want to go straight to that booth to find a McQueen. And on their way, though, they figure out that apparently there are some people, or just one person probably going around spreading counterfeit money. Oh, counterfeit money is being spread around some booth. That is a really bad thing to happen. But they arrive at McQueen's booth where they find out that McQueen has gone missing. Oh, could this be a conspiracy that they are behind? Could this be the work of they? So Rui is going to overdrive and she's thinking about how can we stop them from enacting their conspiracy. We need to save McQueen from the evil clutches. Counterfeit money is probably also part of that. And what's going on about that? There's just a call that basically just tells her like, hey, the guy was counterfeiting. He was caught. He's like done for now. It's fine. Also, McQueen just overslept and is currently on his way, so don't worry about it, Rui. Everything is fine. So Rui calms down a bit and she takes like a photo with like some of the staff at the booth of McQueen's booth who are still waiting for the guy. And while they're taking that photo though, Rui is suddenly feeling a strange presence. She's feeling like she's being watched. Could she be being watched by them? Maybe it's them again. Oh. So Rui looks at the KamiFest guidebook again because she still thinks that something is going on. And while she's looking at the KamiFest guidebook, Hekatonchia's Revelation, she notices that the booths that were involved with the counterfeit scam, or that at least were given counterfeit money, are called C6, H14, N2, and O2. Which is the chemical formula for ricin. Well, she says it's ricin. Actually, it's like lysine, but ricin, who cares? Basically the same, right? Well, not really. One of them is a deadly poison, the other one isn't. So she believes that this like a conspiracy from them about this deadly poison ricin that is being distributed maybe along people. So she knows that she has to stop people from dying. So she tells Seira, them are going to kill us. So she believes that the food is going to be poisoned with ricin. So she immediately runs to the place where they're serving the food, and she tells people to stop eating, but she's too late. People have already eaten. So she activates her special ability, and like she actually does that. This is not part of her Chuni. Like, she's a magical girl, so she has like an ability, and her magical ability is that she can see how close people are to death. She basically, I think it was like there was like a movie about this at some point. I forgot what it is called, where like one person could see like a clock above people's heads, how close they are to death. She basically has that. But one thing to note is that it's not written in stone. Like, the clock might change if something happens. Like, if she does something to save someone, that clock might be reset. So she could save people from it. But she uses that power to see if people are close to death, and just finds out that apparently everyone's fine. They've got like a bunch of years left on their lives, apart from that one guy who was like half an hour left. But not just kidding. So everyone's still fine. So yeah, apparently this was not a conspiracy from them. Yeah, happens. Mistakes happen to all of us, and we're kind of sad about this. But, you know, maybe now they can go back and check out McQueen's booth again. However, before she does that, Rui says, you know what, Sarah, I'm going to tell you about my favorite game. Like, the reason why she's even trying to get to McQueen in the first place. And she takes out her laptop, and she opens the laptop, and as she does that, in the reflection of the black screen of the laptop, she sees her own face, while she still has her ability active, and she notices that she's just minutes away from death. Well, that was where the first part of this event ended, but of course, we've got to the first part, we've got the second part right here. So the second part starts, and she rushes back to McQueen's booth, because she remembers from earlier there was like some person watching her. She felt this presence, it was maybe them. So she's trying to go back to the booth where she was being watched, and she talks to the people there, the booth staff, and they figure out that she was being watched by some guy called Miranda. Why a guy calls themselves Miranda, I don't know, but the guy was called Miranda. And right at that moment, however, McQueen also shows up. He's finally here, and he arrives, and Rui still has her power active, and she notices that McQueen is also just moments away from death. So she sort of doesn't actually panic at this moment. She notices that Miranda is nearby very calmly, and she walks up to him and she confronts him and says, Miranda, what are you doing here? And Miranda is just like, I want to just say hi to McQueen, my favorite content creator, hey. And Reed at this point just goes, you're trying to kill McQueen, and I've seen your weapon, I know you want to do it. She hasn't seen a weapon, or she doesn't know anything about this, she's just bluffing. But I mean, she knows that both of them are like close to death, so it's a pretty good guess. And it turns out to be correct. Miranda really does have a weapon, and he's trying to kill them, or McQueen rather, and he pulls out a gun. And if you're wondering, wait a second, how does this guy get a gun into a convention? Well, apparently he has a 3D printer, and he just 3D printed a gun and bullets on site in Comiket. That happens in the story. It's a thing that happens. And that's how he got a gun. So he got a gun, and he wants to kill McQueen because in McQueen's latest game, so there's this this female hero who is apparently in love with the main guy, and there's like a scene that apparently decanonizes that ship. And Miranda was like, no, my favorite ship got decanonized. It's no longer canon. I'm going to kill McQueen for writing this scene. That's a thing that happens in this event, okay? Just go along. This happens in this event. So Rui then quickly, before the guy gets shot, quickly grabs her laptop. The guy aims at her, is about to shoot her, but she just immediately pulls up a scene from that game and then says, no, there's another scene. There's another scene, you probably didn't see it. And in this other scene, it's being shown that apparently the heroine was lying and that actually the ship is canon. And then Miranda goes, oh yeah, the ship is canon, yay. And he puts the gun down, and he's fine again. Then like security arrives and takes Miranda away, and Miranda is happy that his ship is still canon while he's being taken away. And then Rui uses her magic again and finds out that, hey, both her and McQueen, their death timers have been reset, they're fine again, and yay, everything is happy, everyone's happy again. However, Seira is still a bit weirded out by this and asks Rui how she wasn't scared when there was a gun pointed at her, and Rui just says, don't worry about it, I'm wearing chainmail underneath my clothes. Well, all's well that ends well. That's the end of this story. Hey, hope you guys enjoyed this. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and I'll see you guys next time.